Hey, what's up guys? Brian Kelly here from Zombie Guitar. Here in today's video, I want to show you how to find all of the chords in any given key signature just by using your guitar. So in almost all of my videos, I would say like 95% of my videos, I always use the circle of fifths as the way to determine the chords in a key. And I love that way. It's great, but maybe you don't have a circle of fifths handy or something. If you have your guitar handy and you know all your notes on the low E string and on the A string, then you can determine the chords for any given key. So there's a few different ways to do this, and I'm going to go over several different ways in this video. The first way, we're just going to determine the chords for any key signature from the major perspective, first of all. So in any given key signature, you have 7 chords. 3 of those chords are going to be major chords, 3 are going to be minor chords, and then you're going to have 1 chord that is a diminished type of chord. So the way that you can do this is, let's say I want to find the chords for the key of, say, key is C major. So what you have to do is you have to find the note C on your low E string. So right here is your note C, 8th fret of the low E string. So from there, you just need to know this simple pattern. It goes like this. So you have your starting note, which in this example is the note C. That's your first chord. So skip a fret, stay on the E string. That's your second chord's root. Skip a fret, stay on the same string. That's the third chord's root. Go to the A string and play those same 3 frets, but just on the A string. So that'll be your 4th chord's root, 5th chord's root, 6th chord's root. So your first chord is always going to be a major chord. So for this key, it's a C major chord. That's the first chord in the key of C major. The second chord in the key of C major is going to be rooted right here. So that would be a D minor. As I said, you need to know your notes on the low E string and on the A string so you can figure this stuff out, but knowing that that's the note D right there, 10th fret, and then knowing that the second chord in any given major key is a minor chord, you know that that is a D minor. Your third chord is also going to be a minor chord. So knowing that that is the note E, you know that the third chord in the key of C major is an E minor. The fourth chord in the key of C major is going to have its root right there, so that is the note F. Knowing that the fourth chord is always going to be a major type of chord, this is an F major. Fifth chord is going to be right here. That's the note G. The 5th chord is always a major chord, so here's a G major chord. And then your 6th chord is always going to be a minor type of chord. So right there, that's the note A. So this is an A minor chord. So those are your 3 major and 3 minor chords for this key. The key in question is the key of C major. So you can also use your circle of fifths to make that same exact determination. Go to your circle of fifths, find the C on the outer circle. That's the key in question. The surrounding grouping of 6, those are your 3 major and 3 minor chords for the key of C major. So you can use the guitar using this little 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 method, or you can use the circle of fifths. Now, as I said, there's 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and 1 diminished type of chord in any given key signature. So how do you determine what that diminished chord is for the key in question? So we already know where our first chord is. The root is right there, C, 8th fret of the low E string. To find that diminished chord for the key, you just move back 1 single fret, and that's going to be the root note of the diminished chord for the key. So in the key of C major, B is going to be that oddball chord that's going to be your diminished type of chord. All right, so let me just give you one more example so you can see how you can apply this to any key in question. So let's say that the key in question is the key of A major. What are the chords in the key of A major? Oh, you already know there's 3 major chords, there's 3 minor chords, and then there's 1 diminished type of chord in the key of A major. But what are those chords? So again, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to find A, because A is the key in question, so that's going to be our first chord. So find the note A on the low E string right there. That is going to be your first chord. First chord is a major chord. A major chord, that is your 1 chord in the key of A major. So you just do that 6 thing, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. So A major. Knowing your notes on the E and A strings will allow you to make this determination that this is a B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor. Now, of course, we could have used the circle of fifths to make that exact same determination. So we're looking for the chords that are in the key of A major. So go to your circle of fifths, find the A on the outer circle, that's the key in question. The grouping of 6 that surrounds the A, those are your 3 major and 3 minor chords for that key. It's the exact same thing that we just determined right here. All right, so let's talk about minor keys now. So as I said, there is a few different ways to arrive at this information. I'm going to just give you the way right now this is the best way to kind of see the relationship between a major key and a minor key. As I said, there's 12 key signatures. A minor key is really just a different perspective of one of the 12 key signatures. It shares all of the same stuff as its relative major key. So let's say that we're trying to determine what the chords are in the key of C minor, for example. So one way to do this would be to find the note C on the A string this time. So you have a C right here on the 3rd fret of the A string. You also have a C up here on the 15th fret of the A string. I'm going to use this one on the 15th fret of the A string. The reason being is because I'm looking for that same cluster of 6. So it's going to be the same thing. This one's going to be major, this one's going to be minor, minor, major, major, minor. So those are the chords for the key of C minor. Now, of course, you can arrive at that exact same information by using your circle of fifths. This time you're going to locate the C minor on the inner circle because the outer circle displays the major perspectives of the keys of the 12 key signatures. The inner circle displays the minor perspectives of the key signatures. So C minor, find the grouping of 6 that surrounds that C minor. There's your chords. So now I just want to talk about the numbering of the chords. This is something that I see people getting confused about a lot. They'll say things like, well, if you're in the key of A minor, why are you calling the A minor chord the 6th chord? Why don't you call the A minor chord the 1 chord? And you can call it whatever you want. That's just on paper. The listener is just going to hear music. They're going to hear chords playing. The listener is not going to be thinking like, oh, that should be called the 1 chord. Why are you calling it the 6th? Like, this is just on paper stuff. The reason that I label things from the major perspective, if at all possible, is simply just to show the relationship between the major keys and the minor keys, to show how they share the same stuff. The concept of a relative major minor, like that concept is a very, very, very important concept to understand. But I'm going to show you how to number these both ways if you want to do it. So let's just pick a key. Let's pick the key of B major, all right? So we want to determine what the chords are in the key of B major. So what's the first step? You find the note B on the low E string, right there, 7th fret. That's your 1 chord. B major is your 1 chord. You have a C sharp minor, that's your 2 chord. You have a D sharp minor, that's your 3 chord. You have an E major, that's your 4 chord. You have an F sharp major, that's your 5 chord. Then you have a G sharp minor, that's your 6 chord. And then your 7th chord in this key is going to be that diminished type of chord, and that's going to be 1 less than the 1. So there's your A sharp diminished right there. So now let's take this exact same key that we're in right now, this key of B major, but let's now say that it's the key of G sharp minor. That's the relative minor of B major. It has the same chords in it, but now we're just going to number them from the perspective of the minor, right? We're going to say we're playing in the key of G sharp minor. We're in the key of G sharp minor. Everything we're playing now is going to sound sad. Therefore, we're just going to say G sharp minor is our 1 chord, right? So you have your exact same 7 chords to work with. It's just the numbering is different. So this is now going to be called the 1 because we're looking at this from the minor perspective. And then the 2 is right here. That's that funky diminished type of chord. So that's an A sharp diminished type of chord. Then your 3rd chord is going to be that chord, the B major chord. Your 4th chord is going to be that chord, the C sharp minor. Your 5th chord is going to be that chord, the D sharp minor. Your 6th chord is going to be that chord, the E major. Your 7th chord is going to be that chord, the F sharp major. And then you're back at your 1 chord again, which is that G sharp minor chord. The problem with this is that there's 2 different ways that you're going to see people numbering minor chord progressions. When you're looking at a key signature from the major perspective, there's really just the one way of doing it. You have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 chords. There's really no multiple ways of doing things. From the minor perspective, which we're doing right now, you can either label the chords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The more accurate way, the more mathematically correct way would be to label it 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. Reason being is because the scale formula of the natural minor scale is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. Going back to numbering these chords again, you would therefore have your 1 chord, your 2 chord, which is that diminished type of chord, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. Back at 1 again. Now at this point I know that you may be confused. You may be wondering like, all right, well if we're labeling these chords from the minor key perspective and that's the 1, no problem, that's the 2, no problem, why is that the flat 3? What's up with that? Okay, 4, no problem. 5, no problem. Why is that flat 6? What's up with that? Why is that flat 7? What's up with that? As I said, that there's multiple ways to arrive at the same information. So if you want to arrive at this exact same information and you want to do so from the minor key perspective, an easier way, a more direct, straightforward way to do this would be to take your minor chord, the 1 chord of the minor key perspective. We're going to stick with the same key signature, G sharp minor. And instead of finding the G sharp up here, we're now going to find the G sharp on the low E string instead. So you have a G sharp right here, 4th fret. So if this was just a major key, again, this would be your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, your 5, your 6. And as I said, your 7 is 1 less than the 1. But your 7 can also be found on the D string right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then back at 1 again. I'm sure you've heard that before. But we're not looking for G sharp major, we're looking for G sharp minor, right? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to take that little scale pattern and you're going to flat the 3, you're going to flat the 6, and you're going to flat the 7. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. There's your G sharp natural minor scale. Now again, that exact same information can be determined in a few other ways, as I already told you. You can look at this from the major perspective and just say, oh, this is the key of B major. I know we're playing sad music right now. I know we're in the key of G sharp minor. I'm just going to think of it in my own mind as the key of B major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The G sharp minor chord is the 6th chord. Or you can rearrange the numbering and you can say, nope, I'm going to call the G sharp minor chord, I'm going to call that the 1 chord. And then you just have to, number all the other chords accordingly. I like to do it according to the scale formula because that's the most mathematically accurate way to do things. Or you can use the circle of fifths. You can say, what are the chords in the key of G sharp minor? You go to the circle of fifths, you find your G sharp minor on the inner circle. You look at your grouping of 6. There's your 3 major and 3 minor chords for the key of G sharp minor. Of course, those are the same 3 major and 3 minor chords for the key of B major because that's a relative major-minor pair. So always multiple ways to arrive at the same thing. There's another way to do this too. You can look into clusters of 3. So the 3 major chords are going to be kind of clustered together, and then the 3 minor chords are going to be kind of clustered together. So whatever the key signature in question is, you always have 3 major, 3 minor, and then 1 diminished chord. So just to stick with the same key that we've been in for the past couple examples, we're just going to stay with this B major / G sharp minor example. So to find the 3 major chords, first you start on your note B. Right there, that's your 1 chord, 7th fret of the low E string. So there's one of the major chords. Another one of the major chords in this key is going to be on the same fret, but on the A string, so E major. Another one of the major chords is going to be on the A string, but 2 frets higher, so F sharp major. So those are your 3 major chords for this key signature. The 3 minor chords for this key signature, you take your 1 chord and you move back 3 frets, so down there. So there's your G sharp minor, that's one of the 3 minor chords. Here's another one of the 3 minor chords. So C sharp minor. Here's another one of the 3 minor chords. D sharp minor. The last thing I want to talk about in this video, and this is true like most of the time, let's say 94.72%, all right? 94.72% of the time you're going to find this to be true. So when to use flats and when to use sharps. If it's a major key, more often than not, it's going to be flats. If it's a minor key, more often than not, it's going to be sharps. So let's say that we want to determine what this is right here. So that could either be the note C sharp, or that could be the note D flat. It's 1 higher than C, so it's C sharp. It's 1 lower than D, so it's D flat. So are we going to call this the key of C sharp minor, or are we going to call this the key of D flat minor? We're going to go with C sharp minor, because when you're left with this question, minor goes with the sharps, major goes with the flats. So this is going to be the key of C sharp minor. You can then determine what your chords are in the key of C sharp minor, and each of the chords are going to go by their sharp names as opposed to going by their flat names. Now, if we wanted to go with that and we wanted to say, all right, well, what about if it's major? What if we wanted to make this determination? Are we going to call this C sharp major, or are we going to call this D flat major? Major, when you're left with this, either or scenario, major usually goes with the flat names. So if this was major, we would say, oh, that's the key of D flat major. We would then make our determination. We would find our chords for the key of D flat major, and then all of the chords would go by their flat names as opposed to going by their sharp names. Again, you can use your circle of fifths to help you out with this information. You can see that all of the flats are on the left side of the circle of fifths, and all of the sharps are on the right side of the circle of fifths. So things just kind of get weird when you get down to the very bottom. Like, do we call that bottom key G flat, or do we call it F sharp? Like I said, most of the time this is how it works. But you can see that like the sharp keys are kind of on the right side of the circle of fifths. The flat keys are on the left side of the circle of fifths. You can see your C sharp minor on the right side, your G sharp minor on the right side. The minor sharp stuff is on the right side. On the left side of the circle of fifths, you see your B flat, your A flat, your D flat, So the major keys, they go by the flat names most of the time, all right? So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. Be glad to help you out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.